21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Holiday lips are away. 265. I think in the last episode, I was going on about TikToks that are not even that crazy, right? It's just like mildly weird to me, but it's not that insane. But I just have this thing where I just don't believe anything. I'm like, it could so easily just not be true. Just it could so easily be fake that it probably is, right? In reality, there's just people out there who just are into weird shit or are just weird things do indeed happen occasionally, right? This one is pushing the boundaries a bit, and I don't know if you've seen it. It kind of like blew up in kind of the UK Twitter side. I don't know if it ever reached globally as just being kind of a viral thing. But if it is fake, which I mean, just by how outrageous this story actually is compared to the Seychelles to my yesterday, um, like they've done it in the most believable way, and also in a way that I don't know what you gain from it, apart from just like posting something that is effectively. Let me just tell you the story, and then we can kind of dissect the kind of whole um, intricacies of this. Right. So imagine sort of a screen recording of Instagram DMs, right? And it's someone talking about going on a stag do and a hen do at the same kind of. Well, she wasn't. This friend wasn't at hen do, and then there was a other group of lads. They also know it was on a stag do, right? That's kind of irrelevant to the story, but this is all voice notes that she's sending to her friend, which has then been screen recorded. And she's saying to her friend, basically, yeah, this and that. We was in a hen do out in Amsterdam, and this and that. We're going here and that. People getting drunk and that, and do some that, and then we end up in some glory hole place, and it's like it's like a situation where it's just like a black. It's like a black sort of glass, but if you press the button, the glass goes clear, so you can see who's on the other side, and you go noshing off or getting noshed off by. In this case, noshing off. Because one of the girl's friends who's telling this voice note says she was in there. She's going crazy on the sausage, and then she's like, I'm drunk, it'll be funny just to click the button. And on the other side, the person who owns the sausage is that person's father. And that is how the screen recording goes. Some other messages in there like, what, no, this ain't real, and then this and that. And it's kind of done in a very candid way, like we have just looked into the inner DMs of someone. Like if someone like is on a podcast and they tell you this happens, you're kind of like, okay, Jay from the In-Betweeners, this just sounds like a bullshit story. Like I saw on Twitter a clip of this guy on a podcast. He was claiming that on a drunken night out, he knocked out Mike Tyson. And everyone's reaction was, we need to get this clip as popular as possible so Mike Tyson can see this clip, and we can get that interaction to happen in real life, and he can pay for his crimes and his lies, because I feel like we would know if Mike Tyson got knocked out at any point in his life, in a ring or not in a ring, because he's Mike Tyson. So they present it in a way that's believable if this is like a fake story, right? Because it's not like someone going on a podcast being like, yeah, and then my mate, she somehow sucked off her own father. That's insane. Because everyone's just going to be like, okay, you just sound like you're trying to make a funny clip. You just sound like, you're trying to be, it's like when a celebrity goes on a, like, Conan or like some late night show, and it's like, oh, I've got to try my best to, like, I'm just saying shit now. It's not even real. Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to drink my own urine. No, I didn't. But I'm just saying it because I'm on a reality show, and I'm on a late night show, and I'm trying to be funny, type thing. So they present it in a way, if you're faking it, that's actually quite good, because it's very candid. We've just sort of listened into a conversation here. It's like, this is going on privately in someone's DMs. It's then sort of being leaked that this crazy thing happened, right? But in my mind, it's more believable, but that you're just smart and a little weasel, that you would think that this is a good way to make it seem real than it actually being real, because it just can't be real. I'm sorry. But then again, what do you stand to gain from that? You like, what, pranking the world? It's not really a prank, is it? Oh, it being mildly funny, but by the people who find it on Twitter, like, you're not really gonna monetize off it in any way. You're not really gonna build anything off that in any type of way. But then again, people just like to do things. To be seen. I remember I was watching a Moist Critical video yesterday, and he was like going through this argument that happened on Reddit, and this guy as the argument just descends into just people clutching at the craziest straws, one of the people in the argument starts to claim that some of the people arguing are only arguing with him for his clout. You know, someone reached for that whilst in an argument on Reddit. You know, it's not like, you know, KSI is beefing someone on Twitter and then someone else tries to pipe up. You might be like, okay, you're just trying to pipe up for more impressions or whatever. We're on Twitter. No one in this argument is famous. They're all just normal people arguing on Reddit. And by the way, there was arguing about podcasts and Hot Wheels cars, right? So to claim that you're only arguing with me for my Reddit clout, you know, that's crazy. But if people believe they have clout off of getting like a couple hundred upvotes once on something on Reddit, then maybe that this is something people want to do just for the sort of one day in the future they could go on a podcast and say, yeah, we faked it. I don't know. The chances of that happening seem so 1 in a billion and just so traumatizing that I just don't know if I can believe it happened. But then again, there are people out there with 1 in a billion diseases that the strangest, that my ears are taller than me. I've got Dumbo ears. They call it Dumboitis. There is no implications of it. Like, I'm not going to die. I just have huge ears like Dumbo. And if I flap them hard enough, I can actually hover off the ground for about 6 to 7, 8 seconds, you know? There are people with those 1 in a billion diseases, right? So if that is happening to people, right, or one person somehow, is it that crazy that one girl went in at the exact same time as one girl's father and that took place? Maybe, you know, but then you got to think, would that information just immediately come out? A part of me wants to say, yeah, it would straight away come out, because how does something like that not come out? You know, the family's in distraught. Apparently the mum ain't speaking to the dad anymore and they've all just fallen out about it and it's a whole thing and this and that. And that's what the girl's saying in the voice note, right? And people talk, it's hard to keep something like that in. But here's the thing, right? In this scenario, right, the only people that would know would be the people in the booth. I'm assuming it's just like you on this side and the other person on the other side, right? So the only person who would know is the girl doing the job and the dad of the girl getting the job done on. And also, by the way, she was giving details like apparently before they clicked the button and could see who it is, the dad was saying stuff like, "Oh, this is the best feeling ever," which details like that in stories like this just kind of make me think extra that it's fake because she and him, father and daughter, would be the only people who know. You know? Immediately when something like that happens, you know, he looks down, he probably throws up for a little while. She's freaking out. They're like, they're in there, they're sort of screaming, but then it calms down. And then it's like, okay, look at me, slap, look at me, type thing, right? We don't tell your mother this. We walk out of this thing and our lives have changed now forever. We will never look at each other. Like, I don't know if we'll even really be family again after this. But nobody knows that if that happens, if that unfortunately happens to you, I'm sure that information doesn't get out. Yeah, you couldn't get that out of me by waterboarding me, you know, just any kind of torture in the Mongolian mountains, right? So the fact that immediately, this seems like the voice note was happening like a couple days later, that it's just spread like wildfire. What, did that immediately go out and say, oh, you won't believe what's happening? No, Mary, don't be mad. You know, like, I just don't, like, it's one thing, it happening. That's like, two miracles need that. It's like Top Gun Maverick, right? When they got to do that insane maneuver in the plane. It's one thing, and yeah, they got to do that insane maneuver in the plane in Top Gun Maverick, right? And they're like, for this plan to work, we need two miracles. First miracle, right? And in this story, first miracle, well, opposite of miracle, right? But first thing, it needs to fucking happen in the first place, which is just insano crazy. And then second thing, they both need to reveal that information then afterwards to their close friends and family who were maybe also there. Like I just don't think that both those crazy things would happen, especially in the speed in which they've happened. How does that come out that quick? That sounds like a weird sort of innuendo. I didn't mean that as a pun. Hopefully he didn't. I don't want to even say that out loud. But it's just a deeply sad. I mean, this might be one of the saddest things I've ever spoken about. It's just sad. Like, it's funny. It's like, oh my god, that's a podcast clip if I've ever heard it. Right, if he was telling it maybe, but like, it's actually sad. I'm really saddened to find that out. But I mean, let's pivot. I need to wash my mouth up with some soap. I mean, she needs to wash her mouth up. I mean, let's pivot. Speaking of sad, and this is the second, like, Lad Bible. It's an Instagram page that posts shit. Usually shit that isn't funny, but they think it's hilarious, and that's the way they tweet about it or caption it, whatever. And I'm just here. I just see what happens, right? And this is the second time I've seen them post like a horse girl type video. I don't know if it's the same woman, but the first woman, it was like this woman crying. She's like, ah, ah, and the caption is like, my horse comforting me after I'm crying after the death of my dog or dad or or something ridiculous like that, right? Bullshit, rubbish, whatever. And then again, now like 6 months later, I've seen them post another one. And by the way, every time they post these videos, they're like, this is Gracie and her horse. This is a video of her horse comforting her apparently after the loss of this and that. And then like the emoji, which is like the sad eyes, the water in the eyes, like type thing, like, oh, this is so like my heart could crack, And this new video they posted was like this girl with a horse sort of like pushing its long face, its long head into like sort of the person of this girl who is like sitting on the floor just like weeping, and it's like, my dog trying to comfort me as I cry. No, sorry, big dog. My horse trying to comfort me while I sit on the floor and cry, when little does he know I'm crying because he's about to get sold to the slaughterhouse or some shit like that. And it's just like, again, two things. Firstly, whenever I watch this shit, I'm just like, okay, first of all, it's just fake bullshit, and you're just like pretending to sit on the floor and cry, right? And then your horse isn't comforting you. Your horse you probably got carrots in your pocket, or your horse is probably just curious. I don't know, right? Just looking at you funny, and then you've posted it with this caption, just made it into a weird thing. Or second of all, which is actually more likely, but even more crazy than faking it, which actually isn't that crazy. It's just that's just normal TikTok behavior, which is you are selling the horse. You are crazy distraught about it because you just love horses, right? Sure, go off, queen. But you've set your camera down in your iPhone camera tripod, right, on the side, or you've leaned it up against some hay bales. You've then sat down on the floor and started weeping. Your horses came over in what you have perceived to be comforting you. Sure, I mean, it's a horse, but hey, if you want to believe that, okay, I don't give a fuck, right? But just the fact that you've set the camera down, then walked over here, like collapsed into the floor, started crying, and then you're like, it's just, I hate it. And what I hate more is when pages post it and act like it's wholesome and cute. Please, man. Come on now. Yeah. This is why we can't have nice things. I don't even know what that means. That I just said that, what I'm referring to. Nice things as in having horses. Nice things as in having TikTok. Nice things as in having, I don't know. I just want to say it now, and I feel like it fits. But yeah, that's all. Could go into this as well, actually. What have I spoken about so far? I'm not going to, actually. I'll save that for another day. But yeah, that'll be all. This is 266, maybe, I want to say. Pod a day, Doctor Way, all that good shit. Whoa, hey, you need to swear there, son, all that good stuff. I'll have you know. I'll see you guys in the next one in 267. So thank you and goodbye.
With the kids, and they have like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. Like,